Disabled people should be leaders in society, both on matters related to disability, but also on matters which are not related to disability, because very often we tend to associate disabled leaders solely with issues or with NGOs related to disability work. However, we know that disabled people have a lot to offer in other areas, as we're going to see later on in this documentary. The issue very often is that disabled people don't get to be leaders within their work or within their communities because of lack of access. And this is, access in its most varied way. So access, physical access, probably which comes to mind, when we talk of accessibility. So whether meetings or activities are being held in accessible venues, because although disabled people might want to be leaders within their communities or might want to be included and organize themselves and their communities, very often they find issues with accessibility. And then also lack of accessibility when it comes to information or communication, whether we're, the NGOs or the groups are communicating their information for disabled people. It is important for disabled people to be leaders also because we need role models. Both young disabled people look up to other disabled people in leadership roles, but also society in general, because we know that representation is important. The more disabled people we have in leadership roles, the more society is reminded of their representation, and hopefully this will eventually lead to a decrease in discrimination towards disabled people. Research tells us that the more inclusive we are towards one another, the healthier our society. And inclusion basically rests on 3 pillars: education, legislation and services. All 3 are related to each other, because through these 3 pillars then we can really have inclusion. The first one, services. We need to offer services to all minority groups, but in this case we're talking about disabled people, in order for them to be included in society. And this very often is taken care of by either the welfare system or the services offered by government. Then there is the legislative aspect, and this is very important because we need legislation, which we do have in Malta. In fact, the United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act was passed by Parliament in 2019, and its aim is purposely to reduce discrimination on the ground of disability. And then we have education, and this is also linked to legislation, because we can use the legislation to educate society in order to reduce discrimination. And if we reduce discrimination, then automatically we are being inclusive of everyone, including disabled people. To me, leadership is very much associated with community organizing, but this could take various forms. Very often we tend to associate leadership with big roles or with politics with a capital P. But leadership can also be, small acts within our own community, whether it's within our own village or within a small organization. But it's also encouraging people to do good for our community. I think that is what leadership means to me. I think for inclusion to really take place, disabled people need to have a seat at the table. So my message to young disabled people who aspire to be leaders in their communities is to strive for that seat at the table.
Hi, I'm Alessia, and I am 17 years old. Music is my greatest passion. I appreciate all kinds of styles, but my favorite is classical. Piano is my favorite instrument, but I can also play the violin and the viola. I started playing the piano when I was 8 years old. I want to grow up playing music. My dream job would be that of becoming a concert pianist. I would love to play music with the Beatles.
My name is Angela Bettoni, and I'm a 21 years old. What I like about performing especially in the theatre world, is when you go up on the stage and you're about to begin the performance. I like the pre-performance feel of the lights coming on and you begin to start the show, and I get the feel of the audience. It's, for me, it's something magical. Whereas on TV, I like the whole world of film in general. And partly when I am on camera, I'm preparing for it. My biggest dream is to see more people who have a disability, especially intellectual disabilities, in the performing arts, on stage, in the media industry, in the entertainment industry, so that we are all represented as a whole for the people for who we are.
Hi, jien Matthew u għandi 22 sena. Minn du kont żgħir kelli ħafna hobbies. Kont fil-bidu bdejt insuq il-BMX, kont insuqha fit-triq ma' sħabi, ġieli kont nitilgħu Pembroke il-skatepark li hemm, u mbagħad kont waqaft u qisu l-aħħar sena iltqajt ma' grupp li jismu Asphalt Sirens u bdejt nipprattika il-BMX, rġajt waqaft. Bdejt l-skateboard u issa qed nipprattika roller skating. Nipprattika roller skating għax hija xi ħaġa differenti ma tantx tara f'Malta u wkoll hija sibt sens ta' familja u komunità fil-grupp tal-Asphalt Sirens fejn kulħadd jgħin il-xulxin u jinkoraġġuk biex tkompli tipprova l-affarijiet u tista' jogħġobni. My greatest passion hemm ħafna affarijiet, imma naħseb l-iktar pers li jien ġej mill-komunità LGBT u mill-komunità ta' nies b'diżabilità, matul iż-żmien tarhom li jibqgħu determinati għal dawk l-affarijiet li jridu, jibqgħu jiġġieldu għad-drittijiet, jibqgħu jiġġieldu għall affarijiet li jixtiequ. Dik id-determinazzjoni ittini dik is-sens ta' passjoni biex jien inkompli naħdem fuq l-affarijiet li nixtieq u fuq l-affarijiet li nixtieq naraw isiru f'Malta u fejn nixtiequ li naslu.
Hi, my name is Thomas and I'm 20 years old. My career started off with multiple sports. When I was young, in fact, I started with football, which was a team sport. And throughout my football career, I also did judo, I did handball, I did a number of sports. But I think it was time that I took the journey of taking the path to a solo sport. Most of the areas I was most competitive in were team sports. So I decided to have a change in career, and swimming was that stepping stone towards a career in a solo sport. I started off with swimming. I spent 5 years in the sport. I competed in world championships, but then due to an injury in my shoulders, I could no longer continue to do swimming competitively, and I shifted my career to an athletics path. And now I competed in European Championships and the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, which were one of the best experiences in my life. I think I have multiple dreams in different areas of life. So if it has to be within the school and academic run, it would be obviously getting high grades and consistently being at the top level in everything that I do. If it would be from a financial standpoint, I'd like to be financially well off and financially free, successful. It depends what run I think it is. I'm a very competitive person. Everyone around me tends to get that vibe from me, because even if it's walking to the next lamppost and I see a car coming, I say I need to arrive to that first. So I think the competitive nature I find myself in always helps me strive for bigger and better things.
I wake up at 6 in the morning. Then around 8:30 I start practicing scales and the pieces I would be currently studying on the piano. This takes around 3 hours. In the afternoon I usually study theory and music analysis and harmony. Oftentimes I have lessons at School of Music or Villa Bianca. In between sessions I practice my other instruments. I like going for walks with Buddy and watching movies with my friends. Papyrus Sprint makes me laugh. It is very funny. I cannot stay without the phone, the computer, and my earrings.
My typical day is like any other person's day. I wake up, I have breakfast, then I take the bus to go to the Institute of the Creative Arts where I study. Then after a day at lectures, like meeting other friends between the classes and actively taking part in the lectures. I go back home by bus, or sometimes I even go to Valletta for other performances that I'm part in.
Il-ġurnata tiegħi ta' kuljum tkun hektik ħafna. Inqum qisu għas-sitta ta' filgħodu, mmur ix-xogħol, naqbad tal-linja sija qabel, nasal ix-xogħol, bħalissa naħdem skola sajf ma' tfal iż-żgħar, naħdem hemm ġieli sa nofsija jew sal-5, wara jew gitarra, jew skatepark, jew immur id-dar nsajjar, u mbagħad għandi bħalissa nirranġa l-gradenza u naddaf u nsajjar, ġifieri ma naqafx biex nidħol fis-sodda nieħu r-ruħ. Peress li jien persuna li għandi ADHD, in-nies jaħsbuni li jiena żien, li m'iniex organizzat, li qed nagħmel ħaġeb, li l-affarijiet qed nimmaġinhom jew hija fantażija tiegħi, li fil-verità hija struggle ta' kuljum. X'ħin inqum sakemm norqod hija diffikultà waħda għax nies ma jifhmukx, peress li naqbad tal-linja, il-fatt li jien nipprova nżomm struttura l-ħajja tiegħi u pereżempju tiġi tard, daqshekk li jien l-istruttura tiegħi tħawdet.
Currently, my typical day in summer tends to be a little bit more relaxed and chill, so I tend to wake up around 8 or 9 in the morning, have a good breakfast and go to my first session. Usually it's gym or some mobility or flexibility, which actually helps me throughout the day, even starting of the day, more fluid and more relaxed. Then I have my lunch, pack some food, do some errands, prepare some studies for my dissertation coming up this year, and then go to my evening session, have dinner with my family, catch up on the day, and go to sleep. But throughout the year, it's usually waking up at 5:30, preparing the lunch for the day, and then going to my first session before my lectures in the morning, going to my full day of studying at uni around till 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, and then have my lunch throughout the day, so it's quite hectic, and then go to my training. Usually I tend to live in my car throughout the year, have everything in bags and on hangers in my car, and then go home and ease off. Usually I sleep around 11 or midnight throughout the day, so not the best sleep schedule, but we try and make it work.
wish people could accept and understand the challenges I encounter to use language and to behave in a socially correct manner. For example, I tend to flap my hands when I am excited, and this confuses people. Many times I feel judged by those around me.
The one thing that I want people to really understand me is, first of all, to see me as an individual, because the way I see myself is not as a person with a disability. I see myself as any other person. I have friends, I have parents, I have family, I'm a student, I enjoy life. Basically, what I want people to understand is to see me as a person for who I really am, without making assumptions, assuming what I think I want. But to see a person with a heart, because once a person really sees you, you're giving a lot to them. We're at your most vulnerable.
Li jien d-disabilità mhux qed nimmaġina hija vera hemm. Mhux qed inkun għażżien, anzi qed nitgħallem tools u tricks biex nkun iktar organizzat fil-ħajja tiegħi ta' kuljum. Nixtieq li n-nies jibdew jarawha bħala actual disabilità u li jifhmuk u m'hemmx għalfejn tifhimha kompletament ma laqas tempatizza mal-persuna u fl-aħħar mill-aħħar nkunu nistgħu ngħinu xulxin. Diffikultajiet li naffaċċja fil-ħajja ta' kuljum huma pereżempju fuq tal-linja meta immur impoġġi fis-seats li normalment ikunu ħomor jew għal nies li għandhom disabilità. Sib il xi ħadd tibtiblek fuq spaltek, isma' mhux postok hemm. Għandi disabilità u x'in jarawk li m'għandekx any physical disability sa fejn qed jindunaw huma jgħidulek biex tqum, mentri jien għandi bżonn inkun f'dak is-siġġu that's my safe space, hemmhekk naf fil-pjan li għandi f'moħħi biex nasal sa fejn ġid. Ħafna nies jgħidu li jittom il-ħaġeb jew m'għandekx għalfejn, mentri jien għandi għalfejn għax inkella ħajtini penekettek mhux se jinexxieli ninżel minn tal-linja u nispiċċa nieqaf stop ħażina. Diffikultà oħra hi, pereżempju, meta jkolli bżonn nuża l-bathrooms. Jekk nidħol fit-toilets li huma tal-irġiel jew tan-nisa, ħalli l-fatt li jiena trans u diġà nħossni skomdu nidħol fit-toilets li huma segregati. Nidħol fit-toilet tad-diżabilità għax ħafna drabi d-dawl ikun daqsxejn iktar baxx, ma jkunx spotlight qawwi, kun hemm il-kwiet magħluq għalik sew ħadd ma ħajħabbat jew jipprova jidħol. So nkun nista' nikkalma u nerġa' ground myself.
One thing that I would like people to understand more about me would be, I think, my disability, because even though there is more awareness, especially in the recent months and in the recent years, about what disability should be and shouldn't be, there still tends to be a stigma of Arda miskin jew ħanipprova ngħinu, which I don't really particularly like. I think people tend to look down upon what is possible with a disability or without it. I think this is from where I tend to achieve and get most out of what I want to do, and this is where I get my competitive nature from, because I tend to try prove people wrong about what is reachable and what is achievable with a disability and even without it, because I want that after I'm no longer here in the competitive scene and whatever I do, I want that disability says no, they're no less or no more than what we're capable of doing, but in fact we're equals and actually they're capable just as much as we are.
Leaders are persons driven by strong values and a clear vision. Leaders are sensitive to other people's emotions and are committed to helping others become the best version of themselves. Good leaders are not afraid to swim against the current. They are people of integrity that dream of a better world. I don't exactly feel like a leader, but I hope that with my work I can inspire some young people who feel they are struggling with societal challenges, especially those who, like me, have a disability. My favorite leader is Rosetta da Battista, my ex-piano teacher. She is a great leader and a woman with a big heart that I respect and admire. Rosetta was able to see in me what others couldn't. She introduced me to the world of music when I was 8 years old, completely transforming my life in an incredibly positive way. Today, she leads a team of music practitioners and therapists, giving people with disability access to the joys of music making.
There are many misconceptions about leadership and what makes a good leader. But the way I look at leadership is by being simply a human. It's not because of the things we have accomplished or what we are doing or our position in society and things. It's about being a human, being honest and being vulnerable. And for me, as a person with an intellectual disability, I believe that everyone from any minority group is a leader of their own as an individual, because we are all humans and we have stuff which we want to say and spread to the world to show that we are humans just like everyone else is. I don't really see myself as a leader in what I do in my advocacy activities. Apart from my writing is to show people to raise their expectations of a person with Down syndrome and to influence them and their families. Whereas in my other advocacy activities, it's about me being vulnerable and completely natural. So the people on the outside, I let them form an emotional connection with me. So if they listen to me, they would think or say I'm an inspiration or a leader because that is what they feel. I don't see myself as one, but I prefer them to make an emotional connection with me and to feel what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, I'm just sharing my heart. I have many people who inspire me in my life, but if I were to think of the famous people, I would say Helen Keller, who was a woman who was deaf-blind, and she's saying how the world in her time saw people with disabilities.
Leadership għalija tfisser li meta tara li hemm problema jew xi ħaġa li tista' tiġi tkun aħjar u tista' tirranġa, you acknowledge that li ġifier tinduna li hemm xi ħaġa x'tista' tirranġa u taħdem fuqha. Ma taħdemx fuqha waħdek. Tara n-nies kif jistgħu jgħinuk, issaqsi, titgħallem, tagħmel żbalji u titgħallem mill-iżbalji. So inti timxi l-qudiem, taħdem għal dak il-pjan li għandek, ma mhux waħdek. Tigwida n-nies u n-nies jigwidawk. Jien inħoss li jiena leader għax matul iż-żmien dejjem kont attivist fil-komunità LGBT u issa bil-mod qed inkun daqsxejn attivist ukoll fil-komunità tal-ADHD. Matul iż-żminijiet ħassejtni leader għax pereżempju meta kien hemm xi problemi jew diffikultajiet fis-settur tal-edukazzjoni jew fis-settur tas-saħħa fejn jitlu nies LGBT, dejjem tkellimt u pruvat tinwassal il-messaġġ biex l-affarijiet jitranġaw. Ħafna drabi rnexxieli bl-għajnuna ta' ħaddieħor u nħoss li issa l-komunità bil-mod qed tikber u qed nimxu iktar leaders jingħaqdu iktar flimkien u qed nimxu iktar il qudiem.
I think leadership has many definitions to what I see it mean to me, because there can be great leadership within a team and taking a leadership role and an active role to be a great leader, but also leadership is leading by example and not just commanding or telling your teammates what to do, but leading by example, which is, I think, the most important thing and the most crucial thing in anything that we do, that if you're gonna talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. So definitely working on what you say and doing what you say will actually make your argument more valid and definitely be a greater leader in anything that you do.
L-iktar leader li tinspirani hija ommi, hija persuna mhix persuna kbira jew ta' popolarità kbira, ma hi taħdem fis-settur tal-mediċina li huwa dominant ħafna mill-irġiel u li mara u tibqa' determinata u tiġġieled għal dak l-affarijiet li trid u taħdem u tibqa' tistudja ma taqtax qalba, nammira ħafna, hija leader u eżempju kbir għal nisa bħala, jiġifieri tina ħafna kuraġġ.
So definitely one of my role models and people I follow throughout my daily life, I think would be Muhammad Ali. Obviously a very inspirational person and against all odds, even through diversity, race, religion, and also in this case disability. I think I tend to try prove people wrong of what people think about is capable of being done in anything that we do. Just like Jesse Owens in the Berlin Olympics, getting 4 gold medals. I think these are the pioneers of change and of a shift to what actually is capable of being done, even when people don't believe in you, and you constantly prove people wrong, and obviously you bring a whole nation behind you to support and continue growing the journey of what you're working on.
It depends on suiting your fans, suiting the crowd that you fit in. Of course, it's really tough to do this, but I choose people who are good for me. I choose the people who actually deserve to be in my life and to actually see me as a human. And that's how I want it to be like.
Ħaġa li nsib diffikultà meta nipprova nkun leader jew qed naħdem fi grupp hi il-fatt li meta jien nuri li għandi bżonn pereżempju iktar breaks, jew ġieli waqt meetings nuża xi fidget toys, jew qed inqum bil-wieqfa u niċċaqlaq daqsxejn, in-nies jgħidu li qed intellef qed taħli l-ħin, m'għandniex ċans għalhekk iridu naġlu. Ma jagħtux każ, ara kieku persuna kienet f'wheelchair, kienet ma tarax jew problemi ta' smigħ, ħanadattaw u hekk għandu jkun. Imma meta jien għax id-diżabilità tiegħi ma tidhirx insib barrier u n-nies jgħidu li qed nagħmel ħaġeb, ma nkunx nista' nasal fejn irrid, allura naqa' lura u biex nasal tkun itwal l-affari. So nixtieq lin-nies x'in jgħidu li ma tidhirx li għandek l-ADHD, okay, kif għandi nidher kieku, like kif għandi nkun biex tindunaw li għandi ADHD. Ma nifhimx.
I tend to take a very active role in anything that I do. I do tend to take a leadership role with certain groups, and in certain other groups I tend to follow a bit more. If it's an area in my life that I find I'm very comfortable and confident working in, I do take a leadership role, and I tend to assign roles to everyone within the group. But if it's an area which I know my teammates are stronger than me in, I definitely take a step back and see what is best to do in the situation we're in. So if my teammate tells me let's do X, Y, or Z, I'll be following those instructions because this isn't my role. But obviously I'm here to learn and I'm here to do my 100% because that's what I would want if I'm in the leadership position.
For me, it's important to be simply a human because you really get to know the person on a much more personal, emotional level. And like that, you really see that person for who they really are. Because there are times in my life when I do feel, when I do ask myself the question, do they really see me or do they not? You see in the books in front of the hall, it first started with those two books, but then I kept on writing when I was growing up, and the world became bigger and bigger.